incredible. We've got a developing story on SportsCenter. Brandon Aiyuk said he wanted to be traded. The Niners initially said, no way, we're not trading you. Then their stance softened. Multiple teams were involved. But according to our Adam Schefter, the Pats have now pulled out of potentially acquiring Brandon Aiyuk. His future remains up for grabs. Well, if you've been following the NFL offseason, you know it's been extremely active and lucrative for NFL wide receivers. The league's best insider is here, Adam Schefter. Adam, I just mentioned your report that the Pats have pulled out of the Aiyuk sweepstakes. I wonder the rationale behind that.
Well, Zubin, any team that's going to get a trade done with the 49ers has to satisfy the 49ers' request for compensation and Brandon Aiyuk's desire for a new deal. And if Aiyuk doesn't like the destination, he does not have to engage that particular team. So any trading team has to satisfy two parties, the 49ers and Aiyuk, and either one of them can reject it. Well, New England had the parameters of a trade in place with San Francisco. That wasn't the issue, but they weren't getting a great vibe here as they tried to conduct communication with Brandon Aiyuk and his agent. And the longer it went on, the worse they felt about it. And eventually they said, what are we doing here? Let's just focus in on the young receivers that we have. They feel like they're excited about them. And rather than go ahead and give up a huge amount of compensation to the 49ers after or before going ahead to give up what would be a big contract to Brandon Aiyuk that he didn't seem overly receptive about getting, they said, we're just going to stand pat and stand down. And so the Patriots have bowed out, and they will not be pursuing any further trade for Brandon Aiyuk.
So the next question, of course, is who's still in the mix if the Pats are out?
Well, first of all, it is a fluid situation in training camp. You never know what team could suffer an injury at the wide receiver position at any time. And you never know what team could wake up one day and say, we should make a play for a player as strong as Brandon Aiyuk. So there are some fluid factors here that could always influence it. Now, the only two teams that have been publicly connected to the 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk have been the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns, both in the AFC North. But there have been obstacles in each particular instance that have prevented a deal from getting done. And the other option, of course, would be that the 49ers don't move on from him because they know how good a player he is. And they would rather not trade him because they'd like to get a deal done, but the two sides have been unable to bridge their differences. So the 49ers, again, back to that point of having to satisfy two parties, they're not just going to give him away without trying to strengthen their roster, which makes it a tough trade to pull off. So we'll see what happens here, but we know this, as of tonight, Zubin, the New England Patriots are not going to be pursuing any further trade for Brandon Aiyuk.
And Aiyuk's representation knows one thing. When you're 26 years old and coming off the best season of your career, you are going to get paid regardless of what position you play. That's Adam Schefter. Adam, thank you. Aiyuk, of course, is a very important piece, though. This guy might be at the top of the list for the 49ers offense. Christian McCaffrey, he's got the old calf strain. Kyle Shanahan says he's pretty much going to be missing all three preseason games. Don't expect to see him until the regular season opener. Oh, by the way, that just happens to be on Monday Night Football against Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets.